All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you attending our webinar this afternoon to learn a little bit more about the Robotiq palletizing solution and whether or not it's a correct fit for your facility. Today, we're going to dive into things and really take a look into our solution. And if you have any questions, posts, please reach out to your local distribution partner, as well as us here at Robotiq. We'd love to be your preferred partner when it comes to your automation needs. My name is Josh Davis, and I'm the sales manager for Robotiq, covering the Western division, and that basically includes from California all the way to Texas. I also have Mark Antoine, who is our application engineer on the line. He's going to lead our second half of the presentation, covering more technical aspects of the palletizing solution, as well as a live demo of our Robotiq palletizer. So the agenda is we're going to cover a brief introduction of Robotiq as a company, so you can learn a little bit about who we are and what we do. And then I'm going to jump into 7 signs that shows your business is ready for cobot palletizing. And then Mark is going to take it from there and jump into the Robotiq palletizing solution itself, do a brief product introduction, show you how it works, and then again, jump into a live demo of the software so that you can see it live on a universal robot teach pendant. So who's Robotiq and what do we do? We are the world's leading manufacturer and end-of-arm tooling solutions for collaborative robots. And our mission as a whole is to free human hands from repetitive tasks. So I'm sure a lot of people who are watching or on the call now, you basically have run into this situation before. It's probably what brought you here, right? And the idea is that finding labor is difficult. Finding the right kind of labor is a challenge for a lot of folks all around the country. And as a company, what we are trying to do is basically repurpose those your human capital in your facility and allow you to free up repetitive tasks. Our company is based in Quebec City, Canada. We were founded in 2008, which is essentially the same time frame as when cobots became a major player in this space. All of our products are made in our HQ in Quebec, Canada, and we have about 150 employees globally. That's including North America, South America, Asian America, and the Middle East. So if you are watching and your company is global, we can most likely take care of your needs. So to give you a brief overview of our product line and how we've evolved to where we're at today with our palletizing solution, essentially starting in 2008, we started developing plug-and-play components for collaborative robots. And if you look at our product scope here, we have anywhere from 2-finger grippers, vacuum grippers, wrist cameras, force torque sensing, and industrial IoT software. So this has built our brand. It's allowed us to build the Robotiq name across multiple sectors. And through that, we have a very loyal customer base from building easy plug-and-play components and having the quality of the Robotiq brand behind that. But what we started to see and get requests for in the market is basically, kitted product solutions, because customers would look and say, hey, that's great. You have a lot of plug-and-play components. However, I have specific application needs. For example, a lot of CNC shops want something that's specific to them. So we started building out kits where you can see the machine tending kit, external tool finishing kit, where essentially we have built from our existing product portfolio and tweaked some of our software in order to make that an efficient use case for your application. Fast forward to our application solutions, where essentially we have seen a demand in the market for full turnkey product line from Robotiq, and that's what you see with our palletizer, and that's what we'll be covering for the majority of the rest of this call. So it's a ready to go, out of the box palletizing solution that all you need to do is plug in a universal robot and potentially purchase some safety equipment, and you're off to the races. So with that being said, I know that there's some folks who are listening that either are at the beginning phases of figuring out whether or not palletizing is the appropriate application for them to automate. And then there's some who are more advanced, right? And they know that. But I think understanding the signs that cobot palletizing is a potential solution for your facility, that's what I would like to cover here with the 7 signs. So number one, you spend a lot of man hours palletizing, right? So if number one, if you're at your facility and you see people who are manually palletizing products, even if it's just one employee, or sometimes manufacturers have floating warehouse workers, right? So maybe you have one person that works multiple lines. That's a really nice use case for you to automate that line and repurpose, whoever you would have dedicated to that line. And sometimes when you have a floating, let's say a floating worker between different lines, you have the potential for backlog upstream in your manufacturing process, which is a really great use case for automating your palletizing. Number two, there is a decent product throughput. So I think it's important to think of this as you don't need to be producing millions of products in order to justify your ROI. However, I would take a look at your production throughput and make sure you're not producing 10, 15, 20 products a day, because there are some custom makers who are interested in this, but maybe you don't make enough product to justify that. So please reach out to us if you have any questions on your ROI needs, or if you want us to run through an analysis for you, we'd be happy to do so. Number three, you can invest a little time in robot deployment. So I think a caveat to this is to know that there is a huge advantage to cobot palletizing compared to traditional industrial palletizing when it comes to saving time. However, there still is a few, I'd say even just a couple days or a week of actual deployment time. But one of the things to consider is to dedicating a couple internal champions to your facility. So you're going to want to train a handful of people that are going to learn the robot, how to program it, make sure that they are in line with knowing how to upgrade software, firmware, what have you. So that'll save you some time and money down the road. Number four, people are held back from more important tasks. So simply put, do you have somebody that's dedicated to the end of line palletizing in your facility that you could use elsewhere within your facility? So essentially repurposing that person to find other value added tasks is extremely important. Number five, your current palletizing is problematic. So again, looking at this is a ergonomic issue for a lot of your employees. They could be lifting heavy boxes, even light boxes, and repetitive motions over time can lead to potential injuries. This also leads to high turnover rates, and it's quite frankly a hard position to hire for. So if this sounds like it's hitting your facility, that is a great opportunity for you to look into automating that solution. Number six, competitors are shipping quicker, right? You understand your business better than, quite frankly, anybody else. So are you seeing the competition in your space advertise quicker shipping rates, right? Quicker shipping times. And if they're not, right, that might be another competitive advantage for you to automate that and to advertise quicker shipping dates. So it's something to think about for future developments. And finally, number seven, your employees feel like robots. So again, one of the things that we try to avoid is having your employees feel that they are doing dirty, dangerous, and dumb applications. These are typically extremely repetitive and dull jobs, which end-of-line palletizing fits the bill for. And when you have that with a human in the loop, you lead to errors. You can see injuries on the job, etc. So really try to dig down and see if we can repurpose those workers in your plant. And again, go back to the mission of our company, which is freeing human hands from repetitive tasks. And I think that you'll find a great ROI within this solution. So with that being said, I'm going to kick things off to Marc-Antoine, who's going to dive into the palletizer in more detail and provide a live demonstration of the UR-Teach pendant.
Thank you very much, Josh. So if we jump right away into the next slide. So you can see an overview of the solution here. So basically, we are providing pretty much everything except the robot. So it goes from the 7th axis, the base, the pallet sensor to have the pallet presence, and even the sensor at the in-feed conveyor that you're going to fix to have the box presence as well. So the three steps that we have to set up, so these are just an overview, but the first step will be to move it where you need it. So we also provide wheels that you can fix on the base, and then it's easily movable to the right area in your facility. Then we have to set up the program. We're gonna get into that in a second. And then the third step will be obviously to operate the palletizer. So if we go to the next slide, so how it works, so the trajectory planning works. So basically, we call it the Copilot software. So we are, and I'm gonna go into more detail with the teach pendant, but basically we teach one waypoint, which is the picking position, and then from there, the pallet is configured, and all the trajectory will be planned automatically. So we make sure that the trajectory is optimized with spline to make sure that it's a smooth, continuous path. Beside that, we also have a secure path if collision is detected. So basically, we take care into account the pallet that is being built. So as you can see into the GIF here, so we make sure that that the robot knows the other pallet that is already built. We know the conveyor, so we know everything in the trajectory will be adjusted automatically with that collision detection software. And as you can see, so it's a 7-axis robot. So we have the 6 degrees of freedom with the robot, and also the 7th one with the axis in the middle to get the height of those pallets. So if we jump to the next slide, we have actually, Josh, from there, I could maybe present my screen.
Sure.
I'm gonna present the configurator. Almost there. Okay, here we go. So the online configurator, so basically, I wanted to do a quick touch on this one before going to the real software on the robot, but that's exactly the same thing as the real software. So we can simulate a palletizing solution. So for example, if you have an opportunity in your facility and you have boxes and pallet dimension, you can put that into the software. So we have the 4 menus in here. So the box dimension, pallet dimension, the conveyor is there, and also the pattern. So you can put all the boxes on the pallet and specify how your layer will be built. And we also have label orientation. So you're going to see exactly what's going to look like in the real life. And as you can see, so everything is moving. So you can see the 7th axis and the robot moving. This simulator is using the same algorithms as the software in the robot. So you really have a real simulation with your own product. Also, what we have here, so we have the first KPI, so the throughput of your pallet. So at the moment, for this example, we have a 12.6 boxes per minute. So it's gonna give you a good idea of what the throughput you're looking for with your actual configuration. So you can have a dashboard, you can save project, you can also share those projects with other colleagues. So just wanted to throw that in there, and if you it's available, it's free on our website. So if you have some configuration you want to test out, it's available in there. So now I can jump into the actual software on the UR teach pendant. So basically we install our UR cap. So the UR cap is kind of an application, a software package that we install into the robot, and then it's ready to be used basically. So what we have here, so once we put the node of the palletizer, so as you can see, you can have these 4 menus, which are the same thing as the online configurator. But before we go into that, if we look at the node here, so we have the 12 lines that are going to be added automatically. So the first folder is the add before pallet. So if you have to put instruction before the pallet, you're going to be able to put that there and customize this folder. We have the grip and release folder where we put the vacuum gripper node, so the grip and release node. Then we have the add between layers. So that's where we're going to select. That's one example that we have is if we have interlayer sheets. So that's where we're going to put that. So in between each layer, we can manage robot movement, or even we also have a 7th axis movement that is independent from the rest of the robot and the palletizer node. So that's where we're going to put that. And then we also have the after pallet folder. So again, for any reason you want to put some instruction in there, have a buzzer, have anything that you want to have, you're going to be able to put that there. So if we come back to the core of the software, so we have the 4 menus. So if we go in there, you're going to see, so we have the box dimension that we have to input. We have the payload. We also have the set label orientation. So as you've seen in the configurator, we are able to orient those labels as we want and making sure that the labels are facing outside the pallet. And then we're gonna have that only waypoint that I was talking about. So that's the grip position. That's the only waypoint we're gonna have to save into that solution. So once you put the tooling in the center of your box, you save that waypoint, and then you can jump into the second menu. So let's go into the palette. So pretty simple here. So we put the pallet dimension in there, and then we can select if we want to palletize only the right side, only the left side, or both of them. So basically, once the first pallet will be completed, the robot will continue and gonna start building the other pallet. So that's an option as well. Then if we go into patterns, so we have the two edit pattern, and again, it's the same thing as the online configurator. So we can edit these two patterns. So if we select the first one, so I've already started it. As you can see, there's 6 bucks already placed on the pallet, and then there's these arrows showing the label facing into this orientation. So everything is done via the teach pendant. We can add some boxes, and as you can see, so if I put 10 millimeters, each time I'm gonna click on the arrows, it's gonna move by 10 millimeters, and then I can just go place those boxes where I want. So if it's red, that means something is wrong, and if it's blue, everything will be okay. So I can place that into position. And here I'm gonna rotate this one. So as you can see, the labels on both sides will be facing outside. So the first pattern is completed. I could do the same with the second one. So same thing here. We can orient and move the boxes and rotate those boxes to make sure that the label is facing outside. So really simple to do, really user-friendly. No need for external programming. Everything is done via the teach pendant. So once the pattern are completed, we can go back. We have the number of layers. So let's say we can put 8 layers. And then we have the current layer sequence. So in most cases, or some cases, we're going to have some alternating layers that we have to put in just to have a better structure. So we can put that like this, and you can see the results in here. So A, B, A, B. So basically, each layer will alternate one after the other. From there, we have the settings. So we can put the tool speed, tool acceleration, with and without the box. We have the box presence input. So basically, we connect the sensor into the UR robot, and we're going to be selecting the inputs in here. We can put that in Imperial as well. So it's really up to the user. And from there, you will be ready to press play, and the full palletizing sequence will happen. So basically, we have one waypoint. These 4 menus that we need to input some data, and the full palletizing sequence will, and all the trajectory will be created by itself.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate you walking through that, and I hope that everyone who is listening has found this to be beneficial. And again, if you have any questions, if you have projects that you'd like to discuss, my contact information is right here. My email is j.davis@robotiq.com. I'd be more than happy to connect with you, learn about your business and your application, and see if we can help you get up and running faster and more efficiently. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.